Latest inflation figures have just been published. Paul is here with us. So what are they?
The inflation figures are, the inflation has fallen. It's fallen to 2.6% in March. That's down from 2.8% in February. Continues to fall from January, which is 3%, and it's lower inflation. It's a bigger drop in inflation, which was anticipated, but it's bigger than anticipated and than expected. 2.7% was where economists netted out. So that is, on the face of it, good news, and some of the underlying figures quite encouraging too. Core inflation, which strips out volatile elements like fuel, alcohol and like, which we can talk about it in a minute, that was also down 3.4%. Lower than expected. And services inflation, the UK is a services economy, so that's where the bulk of prices are set, 4.7% in March. Again, lower than the expectations, both expectations and the price in February. Why is inflation falling? Fuel prices are down. That's largely, there was a drop in oil prices, gas prices. You might not be feeling it in your energy bills, but you might have noticed it at the pump, so that's down. There's also a technical reason around when Easter fell. It affects air prices, and it was an early Easter last year and late one this year. Will it last? No.
And it won't, because lots of people have been complaining about higher bills coming in at the beginning of April, and we've got the tariff talk as well. Exactly.
These numbers are for March. April's next, and we all know what the figures for April are next and what kicked in at the start of this month. Water bills, a slightly increased energy price cap, even though wholesale prices have fallen. And we have looming over all of it the uncertainty still about what the trade war and what tariffs will do. Now, if you are a consumer in a company in the US, you are looking at higher prices, because of the tariffs, largely on consumer goods from China. It's still slightly uncertain what happens here. We have a balanced relationship with the United States. There's some thoughts that if goods start getting dumped, that is, goods that can't be sold in the States and elsewhere get sent here and sold here, that could, in the short term, actually cut prices. But that undermines domestic producers. So there's likely to be some kind of reaction from the government. So that's still uncertain. All the expectations are that growth will fall and prices are likely to rise in the medium term. So these numbers, perhaps we should enjoy the respite for now.
Well, yes, and Rachel Reeves will be enjoying the respite for now, won't she? I mean, so much pressure on the government to produce good news on the economy, so that she will be making the most of it while it lasts.
Yeah, I think, to be honest, when we hear from the Treasury, we're going to be realistically expecting them to be quite subdued in their reaction, because, yes, it is technically positive news, but as Paul was outlining, because we expect it to go up, I don't expect the government to be kind of running rings, celebratory laps, let's say, around Westminster Abbey, because we know it's going to go up. The Bank of England interest rate at the moment is 4.5%, and this obviously comes into their decision as to whether to cut those rates. But the bank is also going to be looking at the fact that, yes, inflation is falling, but it's likely to go back up. So how much do they want to really start to cut those rates until they feel that things are really back on track? Their target for inflation is 2%. We are still above that. We still haven't got it back down to that. And the fact that it is going to go up in the summer months, I think, is going to be a little bit politically painful for the government. They are obviously done a lot of pitch rolling ahead of that, because they have been saying very much clearly on the record that they know inflation is going to go up later in this year. They're not trying to hide that from anybody, and they want to get that out as much as possible so that it's not a big surprise and they don't seem to be blamed for it. But the difficulty is that governments often like to take the credit when inflation falls, but not when it goes up. And unfortunately, you have to either take both or neither.
Yeah, and we probably will hear from the Chancellor
Yes.
later. Certainly get some official reaction a little bit later on in the morning. Thanks both very much indeed. Thank you.